Welcome to the Marketing Execution Podcast. This is the show for tech founders and leaders building B2B products and technologies. We show you how to go further, faster to get the business results you need.
From strategies to big except dreams, catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Today, we look at how tech companies leverage simple but powerful strategies to dominate markets. You will learn to refine your go-to-market strategy to create a competitive advantage in complex sales environments. First, we'll focus on frameworks that simplify the strategic process, align your team's efforts, and ensure that your strategic decisions are actionable and impactful. Then, drawing from my experience helping tech startups generate over $500 million in revenue, we'll explore battle-tested strategies I have used to drive growth and shareholder value. Finally, you'll discover how to identify and capitalize on market opportunities, implement effective sales models, and make strategic decisions that lead to sustainable growth. Now, Tim and I jump into the conversation centered around my own experience and Jason Cohen's paper Great Strategy.
Mark, I've been mulling over a thought that's pretty game-changing.
Oh yeah? Lay it on me, Tim.
It's about crafting strategies that aren't just good but exceptional.
Right, and that's crucial, especially in the tech startup scene. First, let's hit on simplicity. It's all about stripping down to what's vital, simple, clear paths.
Exactly. Keep it straightforward. What's next?
Then there's being candid. It's about facing those tough truths head on. Can't shy away from the real challenges.
Got it. Honesty at the core. And the last big one?
Decisiveness, Tim. Making bold, clear choices and sticking to them. No dithering.
Love that. Let's unpack these a bit more, starting with simplicity.
Sure thing. So simplicity isn't about being basic, It's about focusing efforts on what really moves the needle. Like think about Apple. Their design, super simple. But behind that simplicity, a ton of complex decision-making.
Right. It's like they say, simple can be harder than complex. You gotta work hard to make it simple.
Exactly, Tim. And this simplicity means anyone in the company can make decisions that align with the big picture. It's empowering, really.
Moving on to being candid. That sounds like it could be a bit uncomfortable.
Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing, being truthful about where you stand, especially about the problems, that's what sets you up to actually tackle them.
So it's like facing the music, not just dancing around issues.
You got it. For instance, if a startup ignores their cash flow issues because it's scary, they're setting up for a bigger fall. Address it head on, make plans that are realistic, not just optimistic.
Makes sense. And decisiveness? How does that play out?
Decisiveness means saying yes to great ideas, but more importantly, saying no to a ton of good ones that don't align with your vision. It's about commitment.
So, choosing a direction and not just wandering around.
Right, like say you're a SaaS company, you decide to focus on small businesses instead of chasing big enterprises. That's a decision that clarifies marketing, product development, customer service, everything.
Seems like that would simplify things too, tying back to our first point.
Exactly, Tim. It's all interconnected. The simplicity of your strategy makes being candid easier because there's less to hide behind. And all that leads to clearer, more decisive actions.
Man, when you lay it out like that, it really highlights how each part supports the other.
Totally. And think about the impact of this on the team. When they see a leadership that's simple, candid, and decisive, it builds trust and drives engagement.
They're probably more likely to buy into the vision and push hard with you.
Exactly. It's all about alignment and execution. That's what we're all about here at the Marketing Execution Podcast.
For sure. And for our listeners, this isn't just theory, right? This stuff changes how you operate day to day.
Absolutely, Tim. It's about making strategic choices that are felt on every level of your business.
Mark, let's dive into what this means for our folks at home.
So, Tim, we've really dug deep today. Thinking about all this, it's like peeling back layers on an onion. From my own journey, I've seen how these principles aren't just theories. They're the nuts and bolts of building something that lasts.
Absolutely, Mark. And reflecting on the simplicity aspect, it strikes me how this isn't just about cutting back. It's about clarity, right?
Exactly, Tim. It's all about focusing on what truly matters. Like, take the example of Netflix. They could have drowned in complexity, but they chose to streamline, focusing majorly on streaming rather than juggling too much.
Right, and that decision to focus seems like it was a game changer for them.
Oh, totally. And moving from simplicity to candor, I think there's a powerful overlap. When you simplify, you're also being honest about what your business can and should be doing. It's like saying, hey, this is us and this is what we're all about.
Makes sense. Being straightforward about your capabilities and challenges can really set the stage for genuine growth, huh?
You got it. For instance, when a company like Tesla openly discusses its production challenges, it's not just transparency, it's strategic. It builds trust and aligns the entire team on what needs to be tackled.
And I guess that ties directly into being decisive. When you're clear and honest, decisions kind of make themselves apparent.
Exactly. Decisiveness isn't just about making decisions quickly. It's about making the right decisions with confidence and conviction, like Apple deciding to remove the headphone jack. Controversial? Yes, but it aligned perfectly with their vision of a wireless future.
Sticking to your guns can really shape how your product develops and is perceived then.
Absolutely, Tim. And here's where it gets interesting. When your strategies are simple, candid, and decisive, you create a culture where these values permeate every level of your organization.
Right, and that cultural alignment must do wonders for employee engagement and loyalty.
Oh, without a doubt. It's like when a leader steps up in a crisis and says, "This is the plan, and I need all hands on deck." It rallies the troops, so to speak. Everyone knows what's important, what's expected, and why their role is crucial to the mission.
It's sort of a reinforcing loop then. Simplicity breeds clarity, clarity breeds honesty, and honesty breeds decisive action.
Spot on, Tim. And each step of that loop builds more trust and commitment within the team. They see the leadership making tough calls, sticking by them, and being upfront about the journey. It's empowering.
And in a fast-paced environment, that kind of alignment is critical. You can't afford to have people pulling in different directions.
Exactly. And think about the companies we admire. They're not just successful because they have a great product. They succeed because their teams are laser focused and marching to the beat of the same drum.
Which, I guess, makes it easier to adapt when things go sideways. If everyone understands the core strategies, pivoting becomes a coordinated move rather than chaos.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's all about building that resilient, adaptable team that can handle whatever the market throws at them.
Really puts into perspective how strategy is less about documents and more about building a mindset across your company.
That's it, Tim. And for the folks listening, remember, this isn't just about large decisions. It's about everyday actions that align with these strategic principles.
Mark, it's time to translate this discussion into actionable steps. How can our listeners implement these strategies effectively in their own teams?
You know, Tim, ideas are great and all, but if we can't apply them, what's the point? Let's talk about how to actually use this stuff in real life.
Absolutely, Mark. I've got questions already. Let's break it down.
Sure thing. Let's start with the idea of simplicity. In marketing, especially in the B2B space, it's easy to get caught up in complex strategies. But if your team can't grasp it, or if it's too convoluted to execute, you're setting yourself up for failure.
So are you saying simpler is always better?
In many cases, yes. Take Dropbox, for example. They focused on one key feature, making file sharing easy. That single focus helped them grow rapidly because it was easy for users to understand, and it solved a common problem effectively.
Makes sense. How about being candid? That seems a bit risky, especially when you're dealing with tough truths.
It does sound risky, Tim, but being candid helps pinpoint the real challenges. For instance, Netflix, when they decided to shift from DVD rentals to streaming, they were upfront about the challenges and the shift in focus. This transparency helped them manage customer expectations and smoothly transition to a streaming giant.
Okay, I see how that plays into decisiveness too. Once you're candid, you can make bold decisions.
Exactly. Decisiveness in strategy means saying no to good ideas to make room for great ones, like how Apple often decides what features not to include in their products to maintain usability and design aesthetics.
Right? And that's a hard call to make. Now, how do these strategies play out when it comes to leveraging strengths?
Great question. Leveraging is all about playing to your strengths. Look at Adobe. They've long been the go-to for creatives. Instead of diversifying too much, they doubled down on this by enhancing their creative suite, which solidified their market position.
And I guess this feeds into making asymmetric bets too?
You got it, Tim. Asymmetric bets mean your wins should outweigh your losses significantly. Amazon does this brilliantly. They experiment a lot, and sure, not all bets pay off. Think about the Fire Phone. But the wins, like AWS, are so big, they more than make up for the losses.
It's like they're not afraid to fail because their successful bets are home runs.
Exactly, Tim. That mindset is crucial. It's about creating options where success is not just a single path, but many possible avenues, like how Google invests in various moonshot projects. Not all succeed, but those that do really push the envelope.
And all of this must be underpinned by a futuristic outlook, right?
Spot on. Oh, I mean precisely. A futuristic strategy isn't just about responding to the current market, but anticipating or even shaping future demands. Tesla is a prime example. Their investment in electric vehicles was based on future market trends, predicting a shift away from fossil fuels.
So, it's about setting up today for tomorrow's success. And I suppose this all circles back to the clarity and simplicity we started with.
Exactly. It's a full circle. By keeping strategies simple and focused, supported by candor and decisiveness, leveraging strengths wisely, making smart, asymmetric bets, and keeping an eye on the future, companies can navigate through complexity effectively.
That seems like a playbook for resilience and adaptability.
It is, Tim. And for our listeners, this isn't just theory. It's about taking these insights and applying them directly to your strategies. Whether you're refining your marketing approach or pivoting your product strategy, these principles can guide you to clearer and more impactful decisions.
Mark, for anyone listening, what's the one thing they should try to implement from this discussion?
Start by identifying one area where complexity is holding you back. Apply simplicity and clarity to this one area. It could be streamlining your product offerings or making your marketing messages clearer. See what changes and learn from that process.
That sounds like a solid step. Thanks, Mark, for breaking these concepts down so practically.
Anytime, Tim. Remember, strategy isn't just about planning, but about action and adaptation. Keep it straightforward, stay honest, make tough decisions confidently, leverage your strengths, be bold with your bets, and always keep an eye on the future. That's how you'll win not just today, but tomorrow as well.
Mark, can you boil down everything we've discussed into a quick summary for our listeners?
Absolutely, Tim. To thrive in business, embrace simplicity, which fosters clear decision-making. Be candid to address real challenges head-on, which preps you for effective solutions. And be decisive. Commit to your strategic choices boldly. This trio of simplicity, candor, and decisiveness not only streamlines operations, but also builds a resilient and adaptive team aligned with your company's vision.
Thanks, Mark. Now, out of everything today, what's the standout takeaway for you?
The standout for me, Tim, is the power of simplicity. It's all about cutting through the noise to focus intensely on what truly drives impact. This approach doesn't just simplify processes, it clarifies goals, making every other decision and action more straightforward and aligned. That's a game changer in any fast-paced market. The Marketing Execution Podcast is produced by Growth Stage Marketing. We are on a mission to see your company reach wild success using marketing pods.
Too big, accept dreams. Catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Thank you for listening and being a part of the marketing execution movement and community. To learn how growth stage marketing clients reach more buyers and drive business impact, go to growthstage.marketing. That's growthstage.marketing.